In my artistic and storytelling world, I have a strong affinity for reading and writing stories about underdogs, diversity, adventure, slice of life, childhood, the darkest sides of society, family and youth. I am attracted to work that is self-conscious about form and genre, breaking down the fourth wall to reveal the artifice of media. Locked Up in Lockdown, a film I made earlier on in my time at university, which is initially a documentary about an elderly couple in the depths of COVID-19 lockdown, but is really an exploration of the notion of truth in reality TV. This is explored through the destruction done to the worlds of Alan and Tina as the documentary writer Evelina twists their portrayals into stereotypes. What they don't understand is that they're just ciphers, symbols, characters in my story. People want my story without the complexity of their real lives. We need a simple story, simple characters, and simple message. Why can't they understand that? Get Brexit done, take back control, make America great. We are constructing a narrative, and they are trying to disrupt that. I cannot just ask how they want to portray themselves. It's my documentary, not theirs. They will not succeed. I will make sure of that, no matter what. Genre Twist examines the signifiers that tell us how we should respond to what we see and hear on TV as well. This is a comedy, then it is a drama, and now we are in horror territory. In that film, I was combining different tropes of genre, characters and plot while examining them in different contexts, then switching them around without explanation in the story or acknowledgement from the characters.
Got to his flat. If anybody should be going with him, it's me. I've known him since nursery school.
Well, he got with me, didn't he? Not you. So there.
Oh, you can't!
Oi! Keep it down up there. I've had to pause EastEnders to stop your antics. They're intruding into my escapist and formulaic soap opera world. Ah. That's better. Now I can enjoy my escapist world. And a good thing too, because it's getting to a good part where the characters are becoming really dysfunctional. Maybe another murder, revealed affair, or even a ruined Christmas.
Casey? Casey?
I have recently become more engaged in TV tropes, cliches in characters and stories that happen so much they have their own descriptions, how they can be described and how they play out, whether they be genres, story beats and character traits. My first film at the University of Brighton looked at the alienation that people frequently feel but rarely acknowledge publicly. It is far better to appear normal, untroubled and fine on the outside, inspired by the song of the same name from the Studio Ghibli film When Marnie Was There. A Time and a Place for Imagination deals with the illusion of a wholly happy and carefree childhood and children being too wrapped up in their own worlds to understand what is going on around them during that time. It investigates the vision of terror and excitement of living completely in this unsettling world that slowly unfolds to us all. The place is changed now, and many familiar faces are gone, but the greatest change is myself. I was a child then. I had no idea what the world would be like. I wished to trust myself on the waters and the sea. Everything was romantic in my imagination. Monsters is a circular film which explored consciousness as well as the transition between dreams and reality. Anna imagines her tribulations through her dreams, but it's implied that she knows the reality of the horror of her world, but is too deep in denial to realize or help herself, forever stuck in a vicious cycle. I wake up with a start in my bed in the middle of the night. I look at my alarm clock, which says 3:49 in the morning. I feel restless, unable to drift back to sleep, but I keep closing my eyes and trying to drift off. I have to get back to sleep, or they will hurt me. Likewise, Then and Now examines the lasting cruelty done to those deemed unworthy throughout history. Agatha, the ghost of a Victorian woman whose newborn daughter is abducted by the corrupt workhouse simply because the baby was born out of wedlock. As a result, she is cursed to forever wander the grounds in grief and despair, looking for her baby. A key feature for me as an artist is the absolute centrality of sound. This is in part due to me being profoundly deaf as a child. Now I cherish sound as a crucial sense that I did not have originally. The collaborative work, Lucid Dreaming, I created a surreal soundscape to complement the imaginative visuals created by my co-creators. It is chaotic and doesn't make sense narratively, which was what I was going for. Rest your mind, rest your mind, rest your mind. Welcome to your mind.
Tired of your dreams always being controlled by forces out of your control?
Then try lucid dreaming. The only kind of dreams where you're in charge. Go nuts on your dream, but not too nuts. You have been granted a privilege to be allowed into lucid dreaming. You have been formally accepted because you undergone the right training. I loved using the audio programs Steinberg, Nuendo, and Wavelab to create limitless, overlapping sounds and disorientating sound effects. I loved the combination of simple, sometimes even static imagery in Adobe Premiere alongside dense, three-dimensional soundtracks. Sound sets the scene and delineates the territory. I did extensive research on the role of sound in the films of David Lynch and Studio Ghibli. Ghibli creates its own world. Its mystical creatures, yokai, and spirits create connections with the human world and tell stories that would be unavailable in a mundane and purely peopled world. Sound is a central part of this creation process. And this is where we come to the latest project of mine, Mysticalaria. Here I want to investigate many of the themes already discussed. The mythical creatures in Mysticalaria are diverse and of different ethnicities and identities, going against expected stereotypes and feeling like the kind of characters you would grow to love in real life. The backgrounds will be colourful and multi-dimensional to create an incremental, piece-by-piece world, building with each book or episode. The creatures will include Selkies, dragons, unicorns, griffins, and Pegasi. These are a series of original images created for this project by the artist Piotr Obal. Fantasy 2 often projects a mainstream reactionary view of inclusivity. Imagine a character who is gay, black, or trans in The Lord of the Rings. The characters will live in a surrealist world and represent diverse mythical creatures as vehicles to discuss challenging questions of our age. Initially, I proposed to create at least 3 stories, each focusing on a particular mythical creature and a situation they and their community are facing. However, I have decided to pour most of my efforts into creating a pilot episode. I have contacted local publishers to support the promotion of the stories and consideration of dissemination of different platforms and advertising the series on electronic and physical formats. Alongside this, I will record an audiobook version of one of the stories. I may do this myself or, budget permitting, employ a vocal artist. I would also engage in an artist contact, Piotr Obal, to draw initial illustrations for the book, but also a series of animation sketches, which would also be a stepping stone to phase 2. Initially, the first story in the series would be the characters preparing for and celebrating Mysticalaria's equivalent of Christmas, a light spirit. This will be a meeting of the main characters, their lives, cultures, personalities, and the introduction of some of the antagonists the characters will face. When our heroes go off to mingle outside the festivities, they accidentally come across antagonistic beings that wish them harm. They only survive these encounters by working together as a team, enhancing their strengths and covering their weaknesses, as they do when they handle future conflicts. In addition, they come across a prophecy that a band of creatures from different walks of life will come together and save Mysticalaria from the ultimate evil. At the end, it turns out to be fabricated to inspire anyone willing to try, with an Aesop on how everyone can be a hero if given the chance. I plan to have the series end with the heroes defeating the main final antagonist together in an epic battle with all their loved ones and allies they have met over the series. In the epilogue that takes place after around a decade, they all celebrate another spirit alight with their families, bookending the series. The final book ending with a line on how the magic that saved all of them was the magic that is inside all of us. I will work with a consultant with expertise in these areas to make sure the representation is authentic, educational, and dealt with respectfully. These consultants will be sourced from relevant community groups, charities, and health professionals. The stories will both be written as books and recorded as audiobooks and ebooks to be accessible to people who are visually impaired or dyslexic. The stories will hopefully be a gateway to a series of short film. Each film will last about 25 minutes and can be viewed independently of others. An introductory film, also the pilot, will introduce the surrealist environment and key characters to the series. And I see the films as phase 2, where I will be working with a small independent animation company to bring the scripts and ideas to life. My audience for the initial short films will be schools, community groups, health centres, museums, galleries, and children's charities, as well as home education festivals, forest schools, and alternative events around the UK. In bite-sized segments, we will build a world of characters which are nominally mythical characters, but which represent human archetypes coping with human dilemmas. Here, young people and fans can draw, write, and animate their own stories to upload to a central website designed to give a voice to the audience. I will contact local software creators to price and plan this. The website would take the form of an online magazine with competitions, stories, and reviews. The website would offer the chance to create and share artwork, to make the story and character requests, and hence play a part in developing the stories. It would be a bottom-up sharing system. In addition, it will contain bios for the characters, recordings and lyrics for the songs sung in the book, inspirational quotes from scenes from the films and books, and a fun fact sheet that people can suggest for, as well as further information on the world of Mysticalaria and its inhabitants, including a map of Mysticalaria and a fact file for the species there. Phase 3 of the plan consists on potentially 2 types of video games. The first will be one that takes inspiration from such games such as Stardew Valley, where players can design an avatar and live in Mysticalaria while building relationships with the characters and partaking in the story's events. The second game will be playing at least 2 characters through the story's plot that can be replayed to collect all the collectibles with different characters that were unlocked in the style of the LEGO Star Wars video game. Finally, Phase 5 might be linked to a series of toys, somewhat similar to Funko Pops and other collectible action figures. However, progression from each phase of the project will depend on the success or learning of the stage before. It will be very much inspired by audience feedback and imagination.